Welcome back to another episode of The Weekend Starts on Wednesday. My name is Patrick Arias, and it is my pleasure to be your tour guide as we break down and discuss this weekend's hot picks and bold predictions. As always, I am joined by my three co-hosts, Andres, the Cavalier King, Bryant, First Prize Flores, and none other than Louisville's finest, Mr. Champagne Chauncey. Gentlemen, welcome back. We are all here. It's been a off and on last couple weeks, so it's great to see everybody back, all four of us reunited, and it feels so good. So let's get right into it. This is the 146th episode of The Weekend Starts on Wednesday. And as always, we like to start off every show with a hero or a headline extremely close and extremely dear to our hearts. And it doesn't get any more close and any more dear to my heart than the Coachella Valley. That is where I was born and raised. Right now, they're just wrapping up weekend 2 of Coachella Fest. So hundreds and thousands of people flocked to the desert to watch this musical festival. And from the videos and from the looks of it, it looks like it delivered once again for the crowd. Another crowd that was delivered for was down the road. It was at Fantasy Springs Casino in Indio, and it was a boxing match that our very Coachella's very own Manny Flores, friend of the show. We've had him on a few times now, and Manny Flores is a local boxer based out of Coachella, California. That's where he was born and raised. He had an opponent that he faced on Thursday night. So it was 5 nights ago, and he handled his business. Manny improves his record to 12-0. And when we interviewed him 2 days before his match, he was very confident that he was going to do well. And he didn't really say like, "Oh, I'm going to win. I'm going to knock this guy out." He was very humble about it. He said, I'm going to be in front of my home crowd. I'm very excited. And I don't know about you guys, but I was able to watch the fight in Mexico City, by the way. So I was in Mexico City, and I told my fiance, the lovely Diana, I told some of her cousins and whatnot, and we were able to watch the fight right there from the headquarters, Mexico City. And he didn't let anybody down. Everybody was so excited. Now there's a few people out there in Mexico City who know who Manny Flores is. So Manny improves his record to 12-0. Flores, what do you think? Golden Boy is going to sign him? What do you think? He's got a new record coming soon, right? A new deal?
No, yeah. And it goes similar to like, if you see an up and coming rapper or something like that, whenever the company actually puts out something for you, advertising you, that's when you know they're getting close to it. Golden Boy Promotions put Manny on their Instagram for this fight. It's a step up from where he might have been 2-3 fights ago. And it just goes to show what the future is for Manny. Within Golden Boy, it seems, I know he said that he's like on a per fight thing and wasn't sure where he was going to be at, but doing or getting performances done like this, where you don't let your opponent in the match, where you knock them down. It was 3 total knockdowns till it ended up being a knockout. That's how you become a stud, become a star. And he has the backing of some really good people coming from the Coachella Valley. So expect a lot of big things from this guy. And I'm glad we got in early. We bought at the bottom and we're going to the top with Manny, baby.
Yeah, no, he's a great kid. He's very humble. And like I said, I love talking to him. So Andres, something else happened 2 Thursdays ago, and we haven't even had a chance to ask you, what the fuck is this lobster rally lobster?
The rally lobster. Let me tell you something, man.
What happened at Dodger Stadium?
Went to the game that Dodger night. First, by the way, opening night at Dodger Stadium history. That was really cool. We're sitting right behind the Dodgers dugout, and we see the runs 3-0. Okay, great. This girl in the third inning comes and she has a lobster in like on 2 dinner plates. So it's like one on top of the other. And that's the dugout area. So the guy behind me is like, "Hey, is that a lobster?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's a lobster." And he's like, "All right." We're all like, "Rally lobster, lobster, lobster." She's probably like 18, 19 years old, whatever. And like, she kind of like parades them a little bit, just a little bit. And yeah, nothing. And then at the end of the day, they started scoring runs. And we're like, "Boo! Eat the lobsters. Lobster sucks." We're just giving her shit, and she's like laughing, but then not laughing. Long story short, seventh inning comes around. These girls leave. The girls leave, and they come with the lobster. Like, "Hey, do you want the lobster? Does anybody want the lobster?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll take the lobster." What I don't know what I would do with it, but I want the lobster. I don't know. So like I grab it, and then people are like, I'm just hoisting it up. I was like, "All right, we got this. Rally lobster." And then they started getting hits in the eighth inning. That's when what's his name hit Will Smith hit that home run. But Freeman got the double, so that started. So I'm getting on top of my chair. People are taking pictures, like, "Yeah, lobster, lobster." They're all about it and shit. And there's these guys in the front, they're like, young hipsters. They're like, "Yeah, lobster," like all fucking loud. I was like, "All right." What's the name? Will Smith hits a home run. I get up on my chair and I'm just like, "It's the power of the lobster." And then random people were taking photographs and like all about it. And people were just like, "Yeah." And just, it was nuts and wild and insane. But the guy behind me is like, "Hey man, great marketing." He's like, "It'd be cool as if you sign an autograph." I'm like, "Oh my God. All right, cool. I'll do it." I have no pen. He's like, hands me a Sharpie. I was like, "Hey, does anybody want an autograph?" And this young kid's like, throws me the ball. My dad's like, "You're going to waste a good ball and a signature of something stupid." I was like, "Dad, enjoy it. Like, enjoy this moment." He's like, "I take you to a Dodger game and like all of a sudden you're with a fucking lobster. Really? This is what, all right." I'm like, "Dad, you'll be fine. Enjoy it." So I get the lobster. The guy, he already had a peanut from the previous owners. So I left the peanut there. And then the claw, like I put the other claw with the fucking Sharpie, and he signs the ball, and I had it like forcefully sign it. I'm like, "LA Lobster," and like just took a picture of it and shit. At the end of the day, I got questioned, I got photographed, random
Bro,
people were like,
get to the good
"That's
part.
it, dude."
That,
Jesus, this has been
Did I
the
eat?
longest story ever. Just to
Did I eat the
say,
lobster?
yeah, the
Dude,
lobster.
I gotta tell you that. I gotta tell you, I did not eat the lobster. I threw his ass away. Shit started to smell and like rot in my hands, and I like threw him away. All right, that's the end of the story. All right, but I had my 15 minutes of fame in the fucking LA dugout, and no
And
one.
so look, this is what the people want to know. This became a thing, quote unquote. It started, quote unquote, trending on Twitter. It had its own Instagram page. Is this still active, or has the Rally Lobster been put to death for the rest of the season?
No, if I will have to continue this trend, I don't know if I have to bring an actual live lobster cooked or I have to get like a toy lobster at this point. But I will have it. You're gonna see it throughout the season. I'll bring it out some way somehow.
I mean,
So,
I think it's dead.
No, I don't think it's
yeah,
that.
so I shouldn't unfollow the Rally
Don't
Lobster
follow.
page yet.
Don't unfollow it. Don't.
All
Unfollow
right, all right. I'll give it another week.
they're gonna have the Dodgers are gonna have a homestand. So I don't know what you got to do, but
hey, they're gonna have a
at,
homestand. They're gonna have a homestand against the Giants coming up, and they're gonna get swept every game. Then we're
Yeah.
gonna see where the Lobster's at. It's
Look,
gonna be more like
we
it's gonna
should
be
go. Let's go to that game, Flores. Let's go to that game. I'll bring the lobster, and then you see what happens in front of your eyes that the Raleigh Lobster is real against the Giants. Okay, let's do it.
After that sweep. It's gonna feel like you got lobster. Rally crabs, bro.
no, so Diana's brother Caesar asked me, he's like, "What's going on with this Rally Lobster?" And I said, I don't think Andres was ready for it. He wasn't ready for it. He doesn't have a Twitter. He doesn't use Instagram. So the shelf life of a Rally Lobster, like if you have an Instagram and you have a Twitter and you use it a lot, the shelf life is longer. But Andres, you weren't ready. That shelf life turned into like 12 hours instead of a whole weekend. So
yeah, I got to work on that. My assistant, the Rally Crab, is gonna get on that. So
hey, we were really reaching out to like AM 570, 710 ESPN to make this happen.
I tried, and they saw the message and they didn't even write back. Because
I wouldn't have either.
Well, I mean, it could be a marketing nightmare too for PETA. Have like some guy just like strangling a lobster on their Instagram. So, but I'm glad that you had a good time, Andres, and your dad really said, "I bring you to a Dodger game, and this is what you're doing."
Yeah, look, I had to forcefully take a picture with him. I was like, "Dad, come join me, take a picture." He's like, "All right, this is fucking weird, but only you and you can pull this shit off." I'm like, "I know, just run with it."
So who is your headline, Andres, or your
Well,
hero?
I got two heroes. One's local, one's very local. It's within the panel of the group. The lead honcho and Patty Boy, Patrick Arias, completing and getting the master's degree program out of GCU. So congratulations. That is very big keeps on that. I appreciate you. And the fact that you were still doing the show and all of it, I can't even imagine. And working, you're a hard worker, Pat. So congrats on that. And then the second one is Austin Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs. This guy scored 60 goals already in the NHL for Toronto. Dude, it hasn't happened, guys, in 11 years of 60 goals or more. Last person to do it was Stamkos for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Matthews, a American, by the way, from Arizona, just putting numbers up in Toronto, in Canada.
A Mexican American.
A Mexican American. Yes, that is correct. Thank you. Probably the best Mexican hockey player of all time at this point. But look forward to him in the playoffs. This guy's gonna have a bright future. They might have the potential of going to the finals in the Stanley Cup. Those are my dark horse. But Austin Matthews, 60 goals, hasn't been done in 12 years. Congratulations, my man.
All right. All right. Mexican American coming out of Arizona. I remember when he was drafted, 4 years ago? Something like that.
It's been like 5, 6, but yeah, 5.
Yeah. Okay. Now shooting it over to you, Chance, you have a headline. What is it?
Yeah, the headline is The People's Court, and that is because Jerry West is infuriated, fellas, with his portrayal of himself on Winning Time. For those of you who haven't been following this story, HBO Max has produced a new series on the 80s Showtime Lakers, how they started, and it's going to cover that entire story arc of the Lakers' dominance over their 5 championships over the 80s. But Jerry West, who was obviously a foundational member of that Lakers organization and of that Showtime era, is not happy at all, fellas, with his portrayal by Australian actor Jason Clarke, who honestly, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't know how many of our audience and our listeners have seen it, but I honestly think he plays the best character in the show, bar none. And what Jerry West doesn't like about it is the fact, in my opinion, that it's a pretty accurate portrayal of himself. Jason Clarke is portraying him as a philanderer, as a drunk, as a guy who has a violent temper. And honestly, I can see that. I mean, let's be honest, man. Jerry West is from fucking like Cabin Creek, West Virginia. Chances are he probably was a little bit of a redneck. Chances are he probably loved to drink like we all love to drink. So he's not happy about it, about the fact that Jason Clarke is portraying him as this, guy who's fueled by anger, who's this almost like abusive alcoholic with how much he drinks. And Jerry West is so mad, fellas, that he's vowed to take this to the Supreme Court if HBO doesn't retract this character. So HBO has already stood by it, which I think they should. They already said that, hey, this is not a documentary, that yes, we've taken some liberty with fictionalizing this version of Jerry West, but all of our evidence is from this book that was written by the Lakers, from Jeff Pearlman. And the thing that I love about it, fellas, is we all know one thing sells, and that's controversy. The fact that Jerry West is bringing this to light is just making more eyeballs on this show. I know Flores is, I think, a Clippers fan. I don't think he's wait, Flores, are you a Lakers fan? No, you're a Bulls fan.
Bulls fan,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason I asked is because there are a lot of people out there, fellas. I went to a birthday party this weekend. A lot of people out there, the Laker fans, they're split on whether they're watching this or not. Some are, and then some who are super, super loyal, they're like, nah, man, I can't do that. I can't support that. I just think it's so funny because it's literally like it's a fictionalized version, man. And like this happens to everybody. This happened with the OJ trial. This happened with so many other people. I'm not saying that Jerry West is on that level of OJ because I'm not, but I just think it's funny. Like PTI, Tony Kornheiser, Michael Wilbon, they were like, how could HBO do this? Like, Jerry West is our friend. I can't believe they would do this. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up and calm down, man. He can defend himself if he has a problem with it. At least he's not dead, right? At least he can speak up and try to defend himself. It'd be different if he was gone and, 6 feet under and couldn't say anything. But yeah, check it out if you haven't already for our listeners. Winning Time. There's 2 episodes left. It's a great show. I cannot wait for season 2.
Okay, real quick on that. I think Jerry West is lying because considering how many times he's lost a championship, NBA Finals, I would drink myself to death as well. So I think that's a correct.
Well, dude, and that's part of that's a great point, and that's part of what the first few episodes, he smashes his MVP trophy because he's just so mad that he lost. I think he went to 9 finals and lost 8 of them. You know what I'm saying? And like the end of this last episode, he has a conversation with Magic, and he talks about how, you know, when Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain were, you know, playing against each other in the finals, Bill Russell would always, you know, take him out to dinner, act like he's his friend, and then kill him on the basketball court, right? And that's what Julius Erving first did to Magic Johnson, you know, show him the ropes, you know, take him under his wing, and then just completely obliterate him on the court. And Jerry West says, like, hey, man, don't fall for it. Wilt fell for it every time. And it's because he wanted to be liked more than he wanted to win a championship. And to your point, Andres, you know, Jerry West did all that he could. I mean, he won the finals MVP when they lost the fucking championship. So he did his part. But I don't know, man. You just got to check out the show. And I think it's funny that Jerry West is really trying to take this to the Supreme Court. Like, we don't have other shit to worry about besides his portrayal and fucking winning time.
So what does HBO stand for? What's the acronym?
Are you like
Home box office.
Home box office. Yeah.
Exactly, Jerry. I mean, like, let it be, bro. Like, people that really know you, they know you. Like, you know what? And I'm a Lakers fan, and I'm watching the show, and because I'm watching this show, I don't think less of Jerry West. You know, like it is what it is. I mean, you got to be pretty naive to think that a star basketball player like Jerry West didn't have his own issues, you know, and he wasn't angry. And like every successful person has these issues that they have to deal with. So whatever. I feel bad that, you know, it's got to go all the way to the Supreme Court. But Flores, you have an NBA. Wait, what'd you say, Chance?
I just don't think it's – I'll flip to Flores. I don't think it'll get there. I think he's just trying to, like – I think he's bluffing. And I love that HBO is like, okay, take it. Like, you look like a fucking idiot. But Flores, take it away, homie.
Yeah, somebody that, in my eyes, is being way more petty, I guess, than Jerry West is with this whole situation will be my headline. And that's Ja Morant. So this is what I want to ask you guys. So if you've seen recently, something that irked me a little bit is Ja Morant won the most improved player for the NBA this season. But what happened is there was no acknowledgement from Ja Morant. He told his team that he did not want them to announce it. He didn't want to partake in any ceremony. So they didn't do anything about it. And he ended up just putting it in his teammate Baines's house, giving it to him. Baines posted himself opening it and saying, oh shit, all this and that. So in my eyes, that's just really petty on Ja Morant's side, that he just isn't giving any credibility to that trophy, to what that stands for, to what the players that have won it before. He's feeling himself to be superior to that, and even feeling himself to be superior than one of his teammates, Baines. That's like saying, like, hey, let my little homie have this, like, instead of just taking it himself and just agreeing with it. So my question to you guys is, would you rather be a top 5 MVP candidate and never win an MVP? Let's say that you're once in your whole career, you will only have finished once in the top 5 for MVP. Or would you rather have won the most improved player in your career? Pat, I'll start with you. Which one would you rather have on your resume? An actual trophy or a top 5 finish in some hypothetical nothing where your name is never on any papers?
No, I definitely want the hardware, you know, because every time you look at the hardware, you can be like, okay, this is a constant reminder that I can push myself to get better than I did exactly, 8-9 months ago. And you can look at that most improved trophy at all aspects of your life, even after you're done playing basketball. That would be my rationale.
And he's won Rookie of the Year. Then there was a season where he didn't win an award, and now it's another award that he's winning in his 3rd year. So there's a progression, but he just feels, I guess, himself to already be at the MVP level. But Chance, I know this is your guy. So what are your thoughts on this?
At first I was going to say top 5. But honestly, man, looking at this list, like, just if you go from 2000 on down, I mean, here are some of the names who won this award: Tracy McGrady, Gilbert Arenas, Kevin Love, Paul George, Goran Dragic, Jimmy Butler, Giannis, CJ McCollum, Oladipo, Siakam, Brandon Ingram. Like, honestly, I would take that, bro, because what it tells me, and that's a great question, Flores, but what it tells me is your career arc after you won this award. I mean, you're going to go to at least an all-star game. You might get an all-NBA like Paul George and Kevin Love. I mean, Ja Morant's probably going to be all-NBA at one of the three teams this year. So I would definitely take the hardware, man, for sure.
And he only played 56 out of the 80-plus games this year. Let's keep that in mind, too, when it comes to MVP talk and all that. But, Andres, you've been, like, shaking your head angrily this whole time on mute. Let us know your thoughts.
No, I'm not. No, it's not about angry. I just hear you guys' story with regards to keeping the trophy and you earned it. But at the same time, he just has higher expectations, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like maybe there's a new generation of like a Kobe Bryant mentality of like, no, I don't want to be most improved. I want a title. I want the face of the franchise. I'm doing my job. Nothing is like this is different. You know what I mean? So to me, I think that's the reason. That list though of most improved players is a hell of a list. So again, not in bad company, but again, he doesn't want that trophy. I'm not mad at him either for giving it to somebody on his team that he believes is deserving out of anybody that he's played with. So, or even that he's seen across the league. So he just has a higher standard. There's nothing wrong with it. He's a fucking winner. He's going to win a title when it's all said and done, at least one by the end of his career. That's just my prediction, but that's why I get his understanding. So yes, that's why I was shaking my head aggressively.
All right, so I guess I'll end it with this. Derrick Rose ruined it for everybody because now everybody expects to win the fucking MVP trophy their third year in the league. But my boy Derrick did it, and nobody else is going to do it. Not even you, Ja. Back to you, Pat.
Well, I had no idea. So did they announce I mean, as I mentioned, I've been in Mexico, so I didn't even keep up with all this. Did they mention the MVP?
Not yet. It hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, they don't have to mention that for everybody to know Ja is not in contention for that, though.
He's not. Yeah. He's not even in the top three. It's Giannis, Joel Embiid, and Jokic.
And it'll most likely be
the money is on Jokic to win it again, which would be funny if that happens.
Didn't they just get eliminated from the playoffs?
No, they're jumping the ball up.
Tonight.
Yeah, they're jumping the ball up. I took the Nuggets with the points today. They're being given 9 points in Golden State. So let's see. I'm putting my money on Jokic.
All right. So we have Manny Flores. Remember the name. Coachella's up and coming boxer, undefeated, Golden Boys prodigy coming in. Austin Matthews, Mexican American, breaking hockey records. John Morant being petty with his hardware, and Jerry West being very upset with how HBO is portraying him. And those are this week's heroes and headlines.